Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balaba Grivanadari. Gopi Jana Balaba Grivanadari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balaba Grivanadari. Gopi Jana Balaba Grivanadari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhagavatakacharya Asadhara Satushi Shiman. His Divine Grace Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Haribo Slava Zabrani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Garangi. Om Agyana Tvanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Vrajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishuvanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Truvyastra Kripa Sinu Vyevacha Patitanam Vavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, The Son of Dronapanish, text number 44. Sarahasyoyam Danurveda Savi Sargo Pasam Yama Atra Gramascha Bhavata Shikshito Yad Anugrahat Sarahasya Danurveda Savi Sargo Pasam Yama Astragamascha Bhavata Shikshito Yadanugrahat. Ladies, Hasro Danur Veda Savi Sargo Pasamyama Astragrama Sabhavata Shikshito Yadanugraha. You're loud. Sahasraso Vadarno Veda Savi Sargo Pasamyama Astragrama Sabhavata Shikshito Yadanugrahat Sarahasya confidential Danu Veda knowledge in the art of manipulating bows and arrows. Savisarga, releasing. Upasamyama, controlling. Astra, weapons. Grama, all kinds of. Cha, and. Bhavata, by yourself. Shikshita, learned. Yat, by whose. Anugrahat, mercy of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Please repeat. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learn the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Purport. Dhanurveda Veda, or military science, was taught by Dronacharya with all the confidential secrets of throwing and controlling by Vedic hymns. Gross material science is dependent on military weapons. But finer than that is the art of throwing the arrows saturated with Vedic hymns, which act more effectively than gross material weapons like machine guns or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaj Dasarath, the father of Lord Shri Ram, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrows by only hearing the sound without seeing the object. So this is a finer military science than that of the gross material military weapons used nowadays. Arjuna was taught all this, and therefore Draupadi wished that Arjuna feel obligated or obliged to Acharya Drona for all these benefits. And in the absence of Dronacharya, his son was his representative. That was the opinion of the good lady Draupadi. It may be argued why Dronacharya, a rigid Brahmana, should be a teacher in the military science, but the reply is that a Brahmana should become a teacher regardless of what his department of knowledge is. A learned Brahmana should become a teacher, a priest, a recipient of charity. A bona fide Brahmana is authorized to accept such professions. Sarahasro danor Veda Sarvi Sargo Pasamyama Astra Gramastra Bhavata Shikshito Yad Anugrahat. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Buddhaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskatyade Satarane. Right after Narada Muni converses with Vyasadeva, now right after that we have the chapter called Son of Drona Punished. And he's asking, Shonak was asking Sutta Goswami, what did Vyasadeva do after Narada Muni left? And we know Bhakti Yogena Manasi, Samyak Pranihite Mole, Apasya Purusham Purnam, Maya Chatarahai to come. Then he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam begins more or less with Ashvatthama throwing a Brahmastra weapon at Arjuna and being captured by Arjuna. They're going to get into a discussion of what to do with the culprit. So this is the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, right before the beginning of Kali Yuga, and we're in Kali Yuga. And most of us are culprits. Although we think we're quite innocent, we're just doing whatever is necessary to protect ourselves, what we think is ourselves. And practically speaking, we're living in the laws of the jungle in Kali Yuga. Anyone who looks at us the wrong way, we would like to throw Brahmastra at them. Just for our protection, of course. We want to protect, because after all, everyone has the same attitude as Krishna has, because we're part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, our slogan in Kali Yuga is Paritranaya Sarunam Vinashaya Chadiskritam Dharma Samstapanardaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. In order to protect the pious, namely myself, and to annihilate the miscreants, those who don't think myself to be pious, as to reestablish the principles of religion, whatever I make up as I go along, I come millennium after millennium in different forms. So in that way, we've all become avatars. We've come to the material world. Protect the principles of religion, my family, myself, my country, whatever it is. And annihilate everyone else, the demons, the communists, the socialists, the Republicans. And reestablish the principles of religion as we make them up. According to our friends, we get together and we make up the principles of religion as we go along. And we especially like Krishna's principle. At the end of the 18th chapter, we agree with him entirely that we should give up all varieties of religion. That we agree with. That's our principle. And everyone should just surrender to me. Everyone should give up all principles of religion, that the main principle of religion is that everyone should surrender to me, and then they're a good person. Otherwise, Paritranaya Sarunam Vinashaya, I've come here to annihilate. So therefore, we begin with this mentality in Kali Yuga, crazy mentality, where there is no justice, there's no, what does it say, pravitim cha nivritim cha, jananavida asura, the socham napi chaucharo, nasatyam teshu vidite. Pravitim cha nivritim cha. People don't know what's to be done and what's not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor truthfulness, nor proper behavior is found in them. Therefore, we find ourselves here in this situation. It's the end of the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is following Krishna's instructions, which all began with Krishna telling Arjuna telling Krishna that Dronam cha Bhishmam cha, what is it? Katam Bhishmamaham Sankhe Dronam cha Madhusudana Ishubi Pratiyotsyami Purjaha Vare Sudana. That how can I counteract and battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Guru Nahatva Himaha Anubhavan Shayo Boksham Bhaiksham Api Loke Hadvarta Kamans to Guru Nihaiva Bunjia Bogan Rudiya Pragdidan. It is better to live in this world by begging than to live the lives of the great souls who are my teachers. If I kill them, then our spoils will all be covered with blood. So Arjuna is making an argument against killing Dronacharya and Bhishma, that they're great souls. And now he's in a position, and then Krishna spends the rest of the Bhagavad Gita refuting Arjuna's argument. Arjuna just made an argument that I shouldn't kill great souls. And then Krishna spends the whole rest of the Bhagavad Gita informing Arjuna that you should kill even great souls. And now Arjuna's arrested Ashvatthama, and he's all fired up to kill Ashvatthama, because after all, he's been killing all these other people who are great souls, and what to speak of Ashvatthama, who's not such a great soul, apparently. But this is not the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is the end of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and all these people get mixed into the giving their suggestions. There's Bhishma, there's Arjuna, there's Bhima, there's Draupadi, there's Yudhisthira Maharaj, and did I mention Krishna? He's also there. But Krishna seems to have only one vote in the whole thing. Everyone's gotten together, they're deciding what to do. So this is really an example that can be utilized for how a justice system should be established in ISKCON. We have Krishna who knows everything, and then we have people who are quite disturbed and angry. Bhima is quite disturbed in anger. He wants to kill Ashvatthama. Arjuna is pretty angry. His eyes are compared to fiery balls of copper. He wanted to kill him. Draupadi's soft-hearted lady. She's disturbed. She doesn't want to kill the son of Dronacharya's wife, because then she's already lost her husband, and it would be too creepy. already lost her husband. It would be very sad for her to lose her son too. And then we have Krishna, who seems to be quite neutral. Because after all, we'll find out when Bhima is about to get into a confrontation with, I guess, Arjuna or someone, then Krishna manifests 4 arms to keep them apart. So he seems to be in between. And then ultimately, we find that Krishna gives the intelligence, although he appears to be in between, but he reciprocates with the desires of those who are surrounding him and gives the intelligence what to do. Apparently, it settles the matter. He tells Arjuna to cut off the jewel on Ashwatthama's head, because that's as good as killing him. And then Ashwatthama flees, turns back, and throws 5 brahmastras to kill all the Pandavas and 1 extra to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So Krishna reciprocated according to what the desires of the persons involved were, but it didn't seem that they took the factor into that he still could throw brahmastras. And now they found it out quite quickly. But then Krishna covered because they're his devotees. Therefore, he entered into the Pandavas were able to counteract the brahmastras that were thrown. And then Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara when she came running, saying that better the brahmastra kill me than kill my son. So then Krishna entered into her womb as Paramatma, 4-handed form, and gave Parikshit Maharaj a new body, although it was burnt by the brahmastra. So this more or less shows that in Kali Yuga things get complicated, and everyone has their desires to fulfill. And if they're devotees, then Krishna is likely to give them intelligence what to do. And then even if it doesn't turn out to be absolutely good, perfect, then Krishna will cover. Krishna knows past, present, future. And he's able to fulfill everyone's desire and at the same time protect his devotees. So this is an introduction to Kali Yuga, because the rest of the chapter will be, the rest of this first canto will be different aspects of Kali Yuga. Of course, it introduces Krishna in the other chapters. He's going back to Dwarka. He's in Dwarka. Bhishma is leaving his body, etc., etc. And then we get into the Pandavas retire, then Dhritarashtra quits home, then the punishment and reward of Kali. So this is actually, first canto is like an introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is being spoken in Kali Yuga for ourselves. We could say the sages of Namasharanya. Sutta Goswami is presenting the Srimad Bhagavatam to them just so they can understand what they should be doing. Now, obviously, we're not at the end of Dwapara Yuga. We had the Pandavas, who were devotees of Krishna, and they were fully equipped. Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita, etc., etc. But then, this is just this is the Sandhya, Dwarpa, now we're in Kali Yuga. And then the first question that Parikshit Maharaj asks is, what is the duty of a person who's about to die? Now Ashwatthama, he thought his duty was to kill all the Pandavas. That's what he thought his duty was. Kill the Pandavas, Krishna, maybe the whole world to protect himself. So he was obviously, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, they lost all their intelligence. At least he lost his intelligence. And he committed horrible, sinful activities. He was just mad after. Everyone became crazy, I guess, during the Battle of Kurukshetra. We find out in the beginning, they were fighting according to religious principles. They wouldn't kill unarmed people. They wouldn't kill soldiers or fleeing. They'd only fight during certain times of the day. And by the end of the Battle of Kurukshetra, it was a free-for-all. They were fighting all day and night. They didn't stop. They were using all kinds of weird tricks, illegal activities. It was just a good introduction to Kali Yuga. Well, the only law is that there are no laws. That's the only law in Kali Yuga. But still we have to figure it out. And the only way to figure out anything so complicated as Kali Yuga is to take shelter of Krishna, who can make it simple so that one can come up to a decision. And even if the decision doesn't cover everything, because that's not possible. Krishna knew everything, but he knows everything. But the living entity can't know everything, but he has to make a decision. And Krishna, he can't become Krishna. So Krishna just gives enough intelligence so that he can make a proper decision under the circumstances with the faith that Krishna will cover everything. Whatever is, carry what you lack and preserve what you have. And that makes for an exciting world we live in. If Krishna told us everything perfectly and everything worked out perfectly, then we take Krishna for granted. We never rely upon it. We think, well, I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. Me and Krishna together, we're going to conquer the universe. But it doesn't work like that. Krishna just gives enough intelligence to keep things interesting. So we can go on in our spiritual advancement and at the same time try to establish some sanity, especially in Kali Yuga, where there are no laws, rules, and regulations. And it's a free-for-all for everyone. And basically speaking, the majority of the people in Kali Yuga, because they're Shudras, they don't really, or less than Shudras, they don't really want any laws. They don't want to listen to anyone who has intelligence because they're so absorbed in listening to their minds and their emotions, which they take as the supreme. In any case, those who have some intelligence, they should utilize it so that they can help the people who have no intelligence. Otherwise, Kali Yuga will soon advance to the point where people will simply look at each other, not how can I serve you, but what part of your body can I eat? I wonder if your hand, I like the wing better than the, they'll be debating whether we should eat brown meat or the white meat. That will be the main debate, whether white meat is better than the black meat in Kali Yuga. So we should take note here that somehow or another, even in the midst of all the confusion that we're going to have to go through in Kali Yuga, the only solution is to take shelter of Krishna and utilize whatever intelligence he can give us to come to some kind of decision, the best we can come to, and then try to do it to serve Krishna. And even though it may not turn out perfect, there may be some problems afterwards, then we have to still rely upon Krishna. We can't expect in the world, especially in Kali Yuga, that all the problems are somehow or another going to be solved. No, the problems are all meant for our taking shelter of Krishna, because without the problems, then we wouldn't take shelter of Krishna. So Krishna doesn't want to solve all the problems. We never find the demigods finally defeating the demons. And everyone lives happily ever after. No, sometimes the demons win, and sometimes the demigods win. But the point is, when the demigods win, at least they take shelter of Krishna. Therefore, they make some advancement. But the demons, although they may win, they never take shelter of Krishna, unless they're special, like Bali Maharaj. So although it's a dynamic situation where the demigods are eternally fighting with the demons, just like our demon mind is eternally fighting with our Krishna conscious mind. And sometimes one wins and sometimes the other wins. Of course, we should root for the demigod mind, not the demon mind. And hopefully, eventually, we'll get out of the material world and we won't have a demon mind. Or even a demigod mind, we'll have a Krishna conscious mind. In the meantime, we can expect a battle. And we can, as soon as we think we've won the battle against our minds, that's when we've lost. That's when the demons come back. Oh, okay, you're so proud, you're so strong. Here we are. Just like if you go on book distribution, as soon as you think you're in control, that you know exactly what to say and what to do, you know everyone stops when you put your little finger out, and then that's when you lose. That's when no one stops. No one can even hear you talking. No one can hear what you're saying. It's like you're lost until we turn back to Krishna and rely upon him again. Please, Krishna, I was so puffed up. I was so bewildered. I actually thought I was a controller. I thought I was out here and I was enjoying my newfounded mystic power. I was collecting so much money. Everything was good. I thought this was going to go on forever. And it all disappeared. Just like Arjuna at the end of the battle, when he was at the end of Kali Yuga, when he was bringing the queens back. He was bringing, Krishna told him to get the queens out of Dwarka, and he was bringing them. Then suddenly some Aborigine coward men came and stole all the queens. And Arjuna tried to use his bow, his arrow, and everything else, and it failed. He couldn't stop some Aborigine coward men. Previously, he had defeated Bhishma, and Drona, Ashwat, and so many other powerful warriors, and now some third class, fifth class coward men defeated him. So he realized because Krishna withdrew all his energy, all his power, and therefore now he had to depend upon Krishna again. So we should expect that. We should understand that whatever we can do, nimitra matram bhavasavasachin, is only as an instrument. We're just Krishna's instrument. And somehow or another, if we're humble enough and we depend upon Krishna, sincerely realizing I'm helpless, then Krishna empowers us. As soon as we think, well, thank you so much, Krishna, now I have all your energy, goodbye. We'll see you in Jamashtami. Then Krishna takes everything away again. We're back in our actual position as helplessly dependent upon Krishna. So that doesn't mean only when we go on book distribution. It means that any time we're doing anything, we should understand that. We can't even take prasadam unless Krishna gives us the intelligence how to take it. We can't even get out of bed. We can't even remember who we are unless Krishna tells us. There are people who even forget after some time who they are, who everyone else is. So therefore we should try to remain dependent on Krishna, try to realize that we can't make any intelligent decision without Krishna, and even if our decisions are not perfect, but at least we try to depend upon Krishna, then Krishna will help us. And that's our victory, when Krishna is helping us. When we're trying to depend upon Krishna, and Krishna is helping us, that's when we're victorious. And as soon as we stop trying to depend upon Krishna and think ourselves perfect, powerful, and happy, and independent of Krishna, that's when all the problems start to help us remember Krishna and depend upon him again. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for lecture, Maharaj. I want to ask if some association are feeding our demoniac minds. Should we avoid this kind of association?
Unless your demoniac mind, you want to feed it.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, if we want to see what it's like to become a demon, maybe grow two little horns and a tail in the back, then feed the demonic mind, it'll send you right to hell. Maybe because of our pious activities, we can become an assistant of Yamaraj for a little bit in hell. Anything else? Yes.
Thank you for lecture, Maharaj. From Srimad Bhagavatam and from Bhagavad Gita, we get information how the things are going on, and what kind of world we are living in. And sometimes we approach to people like that we know what kind of world we are living, and a little bit like smiling to them, like you think you're enjoying, but you're suffering. Is this the right approach to approach to innocent people and say like, we know, or like smiling, or I know what you need, a book, Bhagavad Gita, etc.
Well, the question is, do we know what we need? Before we start telling other people what they need, maybe we should find out what we need. You can ask Mukunda Madhava, does that approach work very well? You think, I know everything. Bow down, mister, on the street. I'm here to save you. Can't you see the halo around me? Does that work, Mukunda Madhava? Usually not. How many people have come on the street to get saved by us? Do you meet very many people come on the street to get saved by us, particularly? Have you ever tried that approach?
Oh, I'm not Sankirtan devotee to book distribution. I should try, yes.
Yes, yeah, go out with Mukunda Madhava and see if that works or not.
Yes.
Get some practical experience. You don't have to take my word for it. Anything else?
Thank you.
Hvala. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Het probleem met hem, dat is de probleem met hem niet doorbaar.